Welcome back everyone to another on board of the 2019 Italian Grand Prix. I'm going to make this video. Got a lot of messages about it, and I think it's the one you all should look at, and I think it's the one that after, how it played out, no one's going to talk about or do the best not to talk about, and that's not what this channel's for. And I'm going to say it right off the bat, I don't have a problem with any of the drivers. I don't go back and look at my dozens of videos. The only time I've ever even referenced Leclerc, or I've referenced Leclerc once, but that was in my very first video. Ironically, because I was so pissed off at a decision in the Hungaroring, they were taking so long to say, well, there was no incident between him and Max. The reason I call that out is because, and I'll link to that in the below. So you can, and I'm not doing that for views. I'm saying hold me accountable. If I'm gonna bullcrap, call me out. And I'm telling you, go back to that video, and I'm gonna say the same thing. I don't think this should have been a flag, but there's a reason, or a penalty. There's a reason why I'm making this video, is because there's breadcrumbs in the same race. So before everyone, I'm gonna take the air out. Before you go, oh well, other drivers have done things over time. I'm talking about the same race. There's breadcrumbs, and when the clerk does multiple things, this incident happened first and was black flagged. Anything after that, you've got to take action, and that's unbelievable to not. So I'm gonna go through the first incident, and then I'm just gonna trickle on to the next, in my opinion, two egregious incidents, and I think you all know what they are. And if you're a Leclerc fan and you look me straight in the face and you tell me those next two things aren't incidents, yeah, unsubscribe, you're going to dislike it anyway, but I don't care, because you're not having a conversation in good faith, and that's what we're trying to do here. So I'm going to start with something and try to be fair, and that is the incident where you see them approach, and mind you, leading up to this, Hamilton gave a really good look out of that, where the next where the actual incident occurs at the chicanes, where Leclerc cuts the corner. Hamilton pops out wide and gives him a nice little look. I'm not going to rewind to it, but I just want to lead with that, because the point is, Leclerc, he already feels the pressure from Hamilton. He's been feeling it all race, but Hamilton's getting really close here, and he's got to do something. And I think this is the moment where, yeah, you probably should have left room. Frankly, it's not a penalty, though, in my opinion. So you see the approach, he's already next to him. Now, Hamilton is technically not on the racing line. Technically, this is the racing line leading in. Leclerc has it. So let's play a little bit further. And here's the moment where, yes, you probably should leave space. Now, the same thing I said, and looking at the FIA rules, I've gone through them 1,000 times with one of the other subscribers, one of my first subscribers. We literally dug through it, and the rule doesn't, if you have the racing line, you're entitled to it. Just because technically, if someone else is in danger, Hamilton is endangering his race by placing himself here. And if you go back and look, if anything, I've defended Max one time. I even said at Spa, Max was in the wrong. Kimi has the line, but that doesn't mean that Kimi needs to yield because someone else wants to put their car in jeopardy and not in safe place. Hamilton's car is not in a safe place. He should know better. He does know better, and I think he's trying to bully his way for Leclerc to get off the racing line or to push him off in the FIA and make the decision. I don't agree with that, and I don't think any driver should do that. I think Leclerc's actually fine here, because you look at it, what was Leclerc going to do? And you see him, it looks like Hamilton's moving forward. It's because he's not in an optimal route anymore. Of course he's moving forward, because he should be braking and turning. Hamilton has no choice right there. And if you look at it again, Hamilton could have turned. I mean, he would have had a bad time, but Hamilton could have made that turn, and he would have just gone the long way around. I think he decided to not take the risk, and it's smart. I'm fine with all this. I don't like that Leclerc went on radio and said, why am I getting a black flag? Yeah, you know why. You squeezed. You didn't have to squeeze. You could have given him room, but I get it. So let's go to the next one. And the next one is actually at... So again, yeah, if you guys missed the race, he got a black flag for this. And I'll see if... I think Hamilton gets on radio immediately after.
He didn't leave me a glass with it there. Push me off.
And he got on really far after. Again, I'm going to sit here and say... I'm going to say, look, Hamilton's a seasoned veteran. And I think he's getting on radio and making it very clear. He pushed me off. What's he going to say? That's fine. He had the line. Of course not. So, again, I'm going to be fair here. I think he should have left him room. But if it was any other driver, I would have been like, look, don't put yourself in that spot. So now let's go to... And you can hear the commentators are good at what they do, because they're very careful about the words they use. But you can even hear the commentators go, that was naughty. And I think even that's pretty conservative for them and what they probably wanted to say. So, okay, now we're going to pick back up with the next two incidents, which I'm not really sure. You could be the biggest Leclerc fan on planet Earth. you're not being fair unless you clearly acknowledge what this is. And again, before everyone jumps on and says, oh, well, Vettel did it in Canada. That's not what happened in Canada. That's not what happened in Canada. That is not what happened in Canada. Leclerc chose to take this route. He didn't have to, but he chose to because it compromised him the least. That's a penalty, and I don't care how you put it. We're not talking about a safe reentry, because that's what we're talking about with Vettel, who was still gaining control. We can argue about that all day, but he chose to take this route. And again, they're not going to show this because it cuts against the narrative of the day. So let's go into it. Let's show it right here. So we have to look at it from Hamilton's view, because the point of view from Leclerc as being a P1 is from behind the car. So let's click play here. And as you can see, so lockup, boom, big lockup. He can continue on with this, but he knows he's going to either compromise Lewis or compromise his spot. So that's understandable. He cut the chicane, that chicane that Hamilton abided by. And right there, look how far ahead he is. Are you really going to seriously see this and say that didn't protect his position? Taking something that wasn't he made a mistake. How can you argue? He made a mistake. He needed to make a move to not compromise P1. He took something, and it was a more convenient path. It was a safer path, and it was better for his position. I think even Leclerc, obviously, is not going to say it, but that's a penalty. I don't care. How can you say it's not a penalty? You can say, well, he had to do the right thing and protect his car and his life. Sure. Yes, be safe. But you compromise another driver and your position, not to mention he was spreading debris of his parts of his debris on the track. So you're creating an unsafe situation for all the other drivers on the track. You're protecting your position while compromising someone else's. I get it. That's the only route you could take. That's fine, but it's a penalty. It's 100% a penalty, and that one I'm not okay with, because that's a penalty. The first one I'm okay with. I think that's racing. I do think it should have been a penalty, but I'm not going to complain about it. I could understand if they said, look, that's a penalty. But they black flagged him. They went out of their way to pull out the black flag. Like, they didn't have to do that. They were warning him. What's the point of a warning if you can cut chicanes? So then let's go to the incident, which he had the audacity to do again seconds later. And I would love to see someone in the comments tell me this isn't a penalty. I don't know how this isn't a double move. This is a double defensive move. And we're going to look at it from Hamilton because it's telling. He's set right there. He's set. His position is set. I've watched this so many times. His position's set. Now, he goes to pass. Hamilton moves to pass. I can show you the onboards. If you're going to say he didn't see him, they're looking over every millisecond. You cannot say that he didn't move. Now, again, he gets a defensive move. That's okay. Once you take it, you have to stick to it. That was late, though. In my opinion, I'm going to be okay with that, but that was late. Come on. Now, here's the one where I'm just not fine with it. Now, you've got to stay there. We're talking about the racing line, but once you make one defensive move, there is a rule that you can't go back and zigzag. Ironically, the commentators say, and I've got it quoted, doesn't like that he's zigzagging around. You're literally saying zigzagging. You're exposing your hand too. So we go back. He switches positions again. Like, you can't do that. You cannot keep doing that. And if you're gonna protect against the pass, and we'll go back a little bit. So there's the lockup. He cuts this corner. He cuts the chicane. He's back on the racing line. I don't like it. That's a flag. But now he's coming up on him again. Frankly, right there, you shouldn't be moving because that's unsafe. So he's going into his turn, and then he sees Lewis. We can sit here and say he doesn't see Lewis. That's a dumb argument, but you can say that. But he's looking in his mirrors, and even if he didn't see him, it's still a double move. He's still defending the spot. So Lewis is going to make a pass. Okay, defending. That's way too late. He makes another pass on the inside. He moves again. I really don't understand. I feel like I'm going to beat a dead horse because so many people are like, oh, it's fine. It's fine. No, it's not fine. And if it was imagine with a straight face, Max Verstappen did this. You'd be saying, so dirty, so dirty. Like, that's an unsafe situation. And Lewis gets on the radio and says, I'm just going to wait to go around the outside later because what he's doing is not safe. That's not safe. And I'm saying all these things in a vacuum, done once, done spread apart, and you could say he's gritty. He's driving like, he's driving boldly. No, he's driving unsafe, and then he's cutting corners, and he's giving black flags, and then nothing happens. It's like, it's ridiculous. So I'm going to show it. I don't care if this is like too long, like that's fine. But you guys need to see stuff like this, and someone has to talk about it. And obviously Formula One can't. They have their relationship with FOM. Like, they can't. I'm going to show it to you and say that's a double move. And they're not going to show that footage. They're not going to show. He's clearly cutting the corner. Leave a comment in the section below, though. This is one of those ones where it's cranky Yankee for a reason. I got to get up at 4 a.m. all weekend long to watch these. And I don't have a problem with Leclerc. But if you make multiple mistakes like this, and then the FIA just cuts you slack, like the first one I'm fine with, the next few I'm not. So congrats to him. I'm glad that he won in Italy, but I think that was supposed to be the narrative. And even after right now, I don't feel like gutted, like they cheated, like the whole system's cheated. I just don't like that people are pretending nothing bad happened. Lewis was muted because he understands politics. He's not going to say anything about that, at least not in the interview. They're in Italy. Let him win. Let him take it. But I'm telling you right now, that's a double move. If it's any other driver, you're saying that's a double move, and all Leclerc fans need to be fair and objective. That's a double move. He cut the chicane. He squeezed Lewis out. I'm fine with most of that, some of that, but not in succession. Those are breadcrumbs. And so that's the end of the video. I'd say I'm sorry it's long, but I'm not. And I want to show you guys and someone else talk about it, because this is probably the only criticism you'll get. But again, congrats to him. Congrats to him. I have no problems with it. But I don't like that. I don't like that's the standard. What's the rules now then? Who's going to get what? Who's going to get what leeway? Because that's ridiculous. And if you're a Leclerc fan and you're a real fan of motorsport, don't give me this nonsense. It's not. And if you do have proof, send it to me. Send me your own video. Send me the FIA rule. But I just want to make this for you guys. So hopefully you enjoyed it. And if you didn't, I'm sure you'll let me know. But thanks, guys, for watching and appreciating your support and supporting the channel. Share this video if you liked it.